It's easier when you do things right. My dad was a plumber, and he said, when you use the right tool, you'll find it easier to do the job. So let's go ahead and let's dig into it. And by the way, it's not just the science of tiered pricing. It's opposite of good, better, best. It doubles the performance of good, better, best.
You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome back to another episode of Titans of the Trades. I just got done recording one of the most exciting, value-packed episodes you guys have heard in a while. And I will tell you, it's about ready to start. I've known about Joe Crisara for a long time. And if you don't know that name, you need to know that name. He is renowned in the service contracting space, teaching sales strategies, techniques, how to connect with customers, how to increase your profit margins, and really create the business that you've always dreamed of. So whether you're a service contractor, commercial, residential, or if you're in construction, what you're about to learn will transform your business. Let's just get to it. I want to welcome to today's show, Joe Crisara, founder of Service MVP. Joe, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for doing all the service you do for contractors. And I'm watching your podcast all the time, and I'm always honored to be on here because you do so much for people. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. I have a passion for the trades, as I know you do. You were in the trades before you became the world-renowned sales coach for service contractors. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, one of my superpowers, Ryan, is having 48 years in this industry. Since I was 18 years old, I've been doing this, and I'm 66 now. But, one of the things my superpower is 24 years of doing things exactly the wrong way, and then another 24 years of doing it exactly the right way. So I can smell when somebody's doing it wrong a mile away. I can even looking at a truck, I can tell that this person's uninformed and they need help. And then I see other people who I'm pleasantly surprised by, and I learn. So I was a contractor. I was a service technician in the field, both a plumbing and heating and air conditioning technician. Had an entrepreneurial seizure by 1985. So from 1977 to 85, I was just a worker. And then I had an entrepreneurial seizure and started my own business in 1985. I didn't know anything about business. I only knew about the trade. That I was really good at doing work for free and billing people without collecting money. And I wound up about $471,000 in debt. And I just was too stupid to quit, Ryan. I was like, well, if they're going to, shut my business down, come and shut it down, but I'll still be here working. That's how I was so stubborn. That was I guess it was a gift. And a lot of people think it was stupid because there's no way I could have ever paid back that debt with the current way I was doing it. My average sale was about, $72 or whatever when I was doing repairs or whatever. And my equipment sales were like $1,500 for heating and cooling. A water heater I was selling for like $350 or whatever. So there's no way I could have paid back $471,000 in debt the way I was doing it. So one of my clients who saw me, he used me for like 5 years, and he said, Joe, how's business going? Because I noticed you have a lot of trucks, but how's business going? I said, it's going really good. His name was Dave, this guy. And it's in my book, What Should We Do? The Amazon bestseller now. It's in that book. And I said, Dave, it's going good. And he goes, Joe, it's really going good because I go to the coffee shop across the street from your office, and I noticed you got 17 trucks, and none of them ever move anymore. They all sit still. What's going on? And so I said, it's the economy, Dave. This is 1991. I said, Bill Clinton's in office. You can't win with the Democrats in office. And I go, I got my ex-wife who's taking money out of my account, and It's like all these kind of problems. You got these unloyal employees who, just because you don't pay a paycheck, they quit immediately. I don't know what to tell you. He goes, Joe, I noticed you got problems. I can see that. He goes, but I noticed you're leaving somebody out of the equation who's very important. And I said, yeah, it's my wife's mother. That woman, she can't even. So even then, I wasn't able to take responsibility. He goes, no, Joe, you're not taking responsibility for your own issue. He goes, you're the center point of all these problems. And so he showed me a little bit about the science of tiered pricing. He told me there's billions of dollars studying how pricing works, and not everybody wants to buy the cheapest thing. Back then, I thought the only motivation was low bidder gets the job, Ryan. Like, the only way somebody could get a job is if you're less money than the other person, which isn't really a healthy way of looking at the work we do, right? And so Dave told me the science of pricing, and immediately my average sale went up to like $1,500 where I wasn't doing $72. And the first week in doing it, I sold like $24,000 on just service calls. My gross profit was like 72%, and I was able to pay off some credit cards. And as I said, I was $471,000 in January of 1991. By December of 1994, because of what Dave taught me, I was debt-free. I paid off $471,000 in debt, and I was able to make a profit. Ryan, if you can imagine that.
Wow.
So I have a lot of empathy for contractors today and throughout history that I've been doing this. I have a soft place in my heart because the pain I went through, both professionally and personally, I am motivated by not having people experience that pain that I went through, and I want to try and give back for what I learned from Dave. And I don't think I could ever pay back what he gave me, but I really feel like I feel an obligation to pay this forward to the service community today.
Well, we were talking about that before I hit record. You want to get 1 million people into learning your principles and learning what you've learned over there. As you were telling the story, I was like, you want to be someone's Dave. Joe wants to be someone's Dave. That's what he really wants.
That's why they call me Uncle Joe. They call me Uncle Joe because it's like I want to be part of the family. I want to, just like Dave became part of my family. He was a mentor, and at first he was just a customer. And imagine a customer telling you this stuff, right? So it was like that. It came from strange places, but I was desperate enough to listen, Ryan. If I was, I always say that, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but if I wasn't desperate, I wouldn't have listened to Dave. I would have said, I'm fine,
Yeah. Well, I think that's what happens. You've got to hit a point where you almost hit rock bottom. You're like, I'll listen to anybody. Like, I'll do whatever anybody says right now, because ego and pride and all that other stuff gets in the way, and it's almost impossible to see through it. A lot of times we see that too. And, one of the hardest things that I have to do in the work that we do is tell the business owner that they're the reason people are leaving. They're the reason people aren't coming in. Like, your people want to work for a great leader, which you are not. Like, it's really hard to see that. But you mentioned something. You mentioned the good, better, best, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard about tiered pricing and all of that. But I'm thinking more of, well, that's great, but you had to have some sales chops, some sales skills to be able to sell a good, better, best. And I know that for a lot of service contractors, I hear the complaints are calls are up, estimates and tickets are down, because we've got a lot of people that want to think it over. We've got a lot of people that got to talk to their spouse, and the common objections that a lot of service contractors just shy away from. Talk to me a little bit about that. Maybe you can coach up some of our listeners.
I'd be happy to, if I could help them today with this content, and hopefully it changes just a few lives, or just gives them, I call small bigs, Ryan, which are small things you can do that create big results. Does that make sense? If I can give 5 or 6 of those to people today, then they can save this podcast and just keep playing it over and over so they can keep using it. Because they're actually, these things are they're hidden in plain sight. So we're not talking about a lot of hard things to do. Actually, it's easier when you do things right, I always say. My dad always told me, he was a plumber, and he said, when you use the right tool, you'll find it easier to do the job. When you're using the wrong tool, it's impossible to do the job, he said to me. So, so let's go ahead and let's dig into it if you want to. And by the way, it's not just the science of tiered pricing, the premium, by the way, it's opposite of good, better, best. It's premium, mid-range, and economy, which is much higher. It doubles the performance of good, better, best. So, so one single price yields the lowest outcome. If you give somebody one price, it only does the cheap, because what price are we going to give them? We're going to wind up giving them the most competitive price, because we only have one chance. Might as well make it competitive or try to be competitive, right?
Yeah.
But when you do premium, mid-range, and economy, you stop worrying about being competitive. And then you're saying, well, if there's one problem, what's connected to the problem? Like if you're doing a toilet, why don't we clean the drain? Or if you got 3 toilets in the house, why don't we replace all the toilets? We could fix the toilet. We could replace the toilet. We could replace all the toilets. We could drain clean all the toilets and do the main drain as well if you're a plumber. So it's all connected together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just like I always say, the story of the flat tire, the best metaphor, Ryan, when you get a flat tire and your tires have 73,000 miles, do you only just patch that tire even though it's bald, or what do you do with the tire?
No, I dread going to the tire shop because I know by the time I have a flat tire, I'm leaving there with 4 new tires.
Well, that's it. So, the tire shop, actually, I work with a tire shop. It's in my book again. The tire shop was having a hard time selling stuff. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? So I went over there, and every time people came in, they said they wanted to fix the tire. Well, the tire provider took that to be, like literal. And so they did. They tried to patch a tire. The only time they sold new ones is when they couldn't be fixed. So I'm like, guys, why aren't we offering the premium tires? And just offer the premium tires, the mid-range tires, and then we can offer to patch the tire if you want to at the bottom. And the sales went up from $264 per invoice to $2,600 per invoice right there. So just the fact that you make the prices where the top option's permanent, the middle options are professional, and the bottom option's a Band-Aid. That's the best way to put that, right? So whatever you do and whatever kind of service you offer, there's the cheapest way of doing it where you just cobble it together or fix it. Then there's a replacement of the parts or whatever. And then there's a replacement of all the parts that are connected to that system. And then you can sell multiple year service agreements too. And that's number one. So number one thing is the tiered pricing. The single price is the lowest conversion rate, a 23% conversion rate, and will give you the lowest average ticket. When you go good, better, best, it increases the sales by 40% more, because you immediately are giving people 2 other options that are better than the basic fix. But if you do premium, mid-range, economy and start with the premium option, there's a thing called the anchor effect, where the premium choice being first makes people feel like that's the one we should do because the plumber or electrician's saying that one first. Like, here's the best one. We just replaced the whole panel as opposed to the breaker, right? That would be the premium way. And then we'd also do a surge protection and new Wi-Fi connected outlets and everything for you.
You must
That'd
know
be the
my
premium way.
electrician, because I just had that conversation 2 months ago.
He probably took my training, Ryan. He probably did.
And I've got a new panel, and I've got whole home surge protectors.
There you go. You got it all. Thank God. If the new one would have a generator too, you'd have that as well.
Yeah.
But
then what they did was, once I was here and feeling the pain and living in dark for half the day, they're like, "Oh, and we should do this too." And I'm like, "No. You should have done that on the first ticket."
Yeah, that's called the flinch system. See, that's the one where you do the cheap one, and then you keep upselling people, and then they say stop, and that's not even ethical, honestly, because now it's just like let's get our foot in the door and just keep pushing for more stuff. I don't believe in that. I believe in offering the best case scenario first, that thing that solves the problem completely, so we never have it again. So the worst case scenario, and then you finance it so people can afford it, right? And then there's the bottom option, which is the Band-Aid, which is what most people would do. And by the time you show people the Band-Aid, that creates value. Because if I'm telling you that doing the premium thing with all those toilets would be $7,500, and then a flapper of a toilet would cost $350, if I just showed you the flapper first, you think that's ridiculous for a $25 part or a $5 part. But if I show you 3 toilets for $7,500 with drain cleaning and everything like that, then you start thinking $350 is just too cheap. I'm not going to do that. That's too little.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
it's the anchoring. I get it.
It's the positioning and anchoring of the price that's the key component. Now, there is other persuasive techniques. that make it even better. So you want to go over some of those and unpack some of those?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I'm learning right now. I'm taking notes. I love this.
Well, by the way, the premium mid-range economy with 3 choices increases the amount of people who upgrade to 80%. So so it goes nobody upgrades when you get one price, 40% upgrade with good, better, best, and 80% go with premium mid-range. They go more premium or mid-range when you anchor the premium option first. But
well, I don't want to call you back out. Like
you want to get the problem done.
I talk to clients all the time. I say, you know what? Why is it that we always have time to do it over? We never have time to do it right.
And
they do this all
right?
the time. They're like, oh, I just
do it
hired
right
this
the first time.
What was that?
Do it right the first time. My grandfather always said, Ryan, if you can't do it right the first time, don't do it at all. That's what he told me.
Yeah, and I love it because the Band-Aid, I mean, you're anchoring that as this ain't going to last long. It's just going to be a quick fix. And so you're anchoring it as, let's do it right and not have to worry about this again. So yeah, let's talk about some more of these things, whether it's handling objections or other ways to really increase the ticket price, because I know so many contractors that have relegated themselves to, hey, I got a 15% margin. That's the best I'm ever going to do. And they just
you're going to do way better than that. I'll guarantee you. It's like,
after listening to you, I'll bet.
Honestly, it could be, it's like you already have everything you need to do better. You're just not using you're not using the tool right. It's like if you ever were if you saw somebody trying to use a Phillips screwdriver on a flathead screw, you're like, dude, you got the wrong tool. What do you, hey, the flathead's right there in the toolbox. Use the right tool and it works, right? So honestly, everybody's got the right tools, Ryan. They're just not using them the proper way. Like everybody's got prices. Everybody's got what they need. They're just not putting them in the right position. You know, best way I could put it, Ryan, I'm not sure if you ever hired an interior decorator, but if you do, it's like magic. It's like, wow, they took the same furniture and now my room looks beautiful. It's like, if you've ever seen a professional who does that, you're like, I can't believe how nice this room looks.
Yeah.
The way they rearrange the same furniture in that room and now it looks beautiful. So ironically, everybody's got what they need. We're not asking you to buy more. We're just asking you to take the tools you have and use it effectively. So that's one thing. That. So if you do 2 premium, 2 mid-range, 2 economy options like the book tells you to do, 89% will upgrade, and the average sale will basically do 3.5 times more sales just by offering that. Now, there are some key components that make it more attractive, and the first one is the connection you have with your client and using that connection. So the client uses common words. No, I'm not the kind of person who likes to do profiling of clients, but I'm a good listener. So if I were to hear somebody say, this is frustrating 3 or 4 times, believe me, the words frustration would be in that presentation of those prices. So I would say, this top option, Ryan, how did you describe this problem before when you first told me about it? What did your wife say about this?
Oh,
and you would say, what would you say?
So frustrated. Right?
That's why I call this one, Ryan. You have a significant other? Do you have somebody?
Yep, I do.
What's her name?
Alicia.
Right. This is called the No Frustrations for Ryan and Alicia Complete Hot Water Renovation. Oh. This one I did for you because I want to make sure Alicia has peace of mind when she gets into that shower that she's going to have hot water. So you have to have the connection with people and then utilize the connection. Because let's put it this way, Ryan, what I learned about the science of connecting is that connecting is the emotional contribution we make to be able to get people across the goal line. So when people say, I want to think about it or I'll email the price and that kind of thing, it's because you haven't made the emotional impact. So there's a technical part of it with the hot water, the electrical, the HVAC or garage door, whatever it is. But there's the emotional aspect, the connection I feel with the service provider that emerges, Ryan, we've all been there. This is the kind of person I want to do business with. You know what I'm saying? Or like that's what happens with you. If somebody calls, Core, and they are like, you know what, this is the kind of person I want to do business with. I could just tell that Ryan England is going to get the job done for me. He's going to take care of me. Does that make sense, Ryan?
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I love what you said too, because my wife doesn't care about a new water heater. She's not calling her girlfriends, I got a new water heater. She's going, I got to take the longest hot shower of my life.
That's
That's what my wife wants.
the water heater is not the thing people are getting. It's the shower and the relaxation. The way I describe it, and this is going to be another factor. So number one, the connection and using the words the client uses to be able to describe the service in a way that's going to be more meaningful. So instead of saying, I'm going to fix the igniter, you say, I'm going to fix the ignition system on the warm air system so your family can sleep at night and be comfortable so you can wake up fresh the next day for work and school. Because that's what you're really doing when you're being comfortable for heating and cooling, is letting people sleep at night and be comfortable in their home.
They're probably not listening right now, but the company that we have an HVAC service contract with is not getting renewed this year, because when we turned the heater on, we found out that the vent for my daughter's room, something happened in it. It's not letting a lot of air out. She's freezing at night. And we called and they're like, oh, we'll just take care of it at your next maintenance in the spring because we don't want to charge you extra right now. I'm like, I would gladly pay you extra to come make my daughter comfortable.
So one of the things you can do is if you can, just ask yourself, how many times did I use the first name of the people in the home? That's a really small thing to do, right? How many people use the hot water in your house? How many people use the electrical in your house? So who found the problem? It could be a good question to ask somebody. Oh, my daughter found the problem. She's freezing in her bedroom. Oh, what did she say? She said, Daddy, I can't sleep. I'm going to sleep with you guys. I can't sleep here anymore. And we say, what was that like? Well, it's frustrating because we just bought this house for $500,000 and now the bedroom doesn't cool or heat or whatnot type of thing. And they get that frustrating. So now I got to be like, when I tell you the story about how I'm going to fix it, the part of the story is the technical equation. So the first part of it is, Ryan, right now we have an obstruction in the air duct system. That's the technical part. But Ryan, what bothers me more than anything is your daughter, Melissa, who's freezing in her bedroom. So here's what we're going to do, Ryan. We're going to go ahead and give you a solution to renovate the duct system to make sure everybody gets equal access to the warm air and cool air in your house, especially Melissa, your daughter, and especially your wife, to make sure she's taken care of as well. And that's why I did this for you. So in a way, the technical part of the job and the emotional part, because Ryan, people are more important than things. That's what people have to remember. The equipment and the technical part of the job is useless if it doesn't have people involved with it. So when you do present those premium mid-range economy choices, I would urge you to present the premium one first, but I would also urge you to make sure that premium one is customized and relevant to the people you're giving it to so that they will see the benefit as to why. So here's the key word. You ready for the key word, Ryan?
Do it.
It's called the word because. John, I did this for you because, and then fill in the blanks as to what the family's going to get when you get the heat back on or hot water back on or power back on or garage door fixed or whatever. Joe, I want to go ahead and do that torsion spring on the garage door because I want to eliminate any problems in the future so you and your family could just go on that vacation and come back and your garage will work fine. Like something like that. You know what I'm saying there? Just tell the story of how people are going to be using this based on what you've learned about the family. And that's really a super simple hack that makes the premium option more attractive. Of course, the Band-Aid is already unattractive, except for the price. That's the only thing that might be attractive. But the one that's more money, you have to make it more attractive by called verbal packaging. Verbal packaging is just putting a spin on it that says, what does this thing do for people? So emphasizing what your service will do for them is really the key hack there. If you can tell me what that premium option will do for me, then I'm all in. But if you can't tell me that, you just tell me the parts. Well, the parts, I can go on Amazon and find the parts. Those are way less money than the service. Does that make sense, Ryan?
Absolutely. So, I just want to sum up what I'm hearing. You used the word connecting, and that is something that I'm absolutely seeing. I hear so many service contractors, I need more phone calls. I need more tickets. What I'm hearing you say is that, yeah, you may need that, but what you really need is more connection with your customers.
Oh, well, if you need more calls and you need more revenue, it's all going to be gotten through the connection you have with people. Make sense? Like if you and I Like I'm starting to get the idea you and I are connecting because I've now seen you like twice in 2 weeks here. So, so,
Like,
I'm starting to feel like a kinship with you. And, our connection will lead to other opportunities because I am now hearing your service when I interviewed you and you're hearing my service. And we both can start to imagine, like, the interesting part, Ryan, when I interviewed you, I'm like, man, everybody could use this service. That's like, I can't see how he doesn't have everybody buying it, right? And probably the same with me too. It's like, man, everybody should be using Joe, right? And that's the part that's interesting is that when you listen to somebody else's service, you find it's easier to do. So the connection we have together brings opportunities for each other, and you would have more calls on the board. You would have more revenue because people would be they would want you in their house more often as opposed to less often. And people could say, well, they don't want contractors in the house. And I disagree with that. Everybody wants, I mean, it would be great if my best friend was an electrician because then I could have him come over and have a beer and we could talk about all the stuff I need here. It makes sense here. I think everybody
I've got one thing that is coming up. We actually hear our clients talking about this, and I know you've got a solution. So I'm going to ask, this is for them. This is an objection and how you handle it. Or I'd love your professional opinion on this. One of the things we hear service contractors complain about is everybody wants a price over the phone. No one's going to let us have our techs come out and give them an actual accurate estimate. And how do you deal with that?
Well, I think it starts with what's called the halo effect. Number one, when somebody says, I got this customer, this guy wouldn't let me come out to his house. You might hear that the guy, your client might say that. None of these customers want me to do that. And I would say, really, can I ask you a question? Yeah, what is it? Yeah, what was the guy's name who said that you couldn't come out to their house? What was his name? And they're like, oh shit, I can't remember his name. And I'm like, you start to see the problem. So there's a thing called the halo effect, Ryan. This is a science of persuasion, if you want to call that.
Yeah.
The halo effect is something that happens based on just listening to each other's name. The fact that we know each other's name is, I'm starting to know your family's names even right now. The fact that we're knowing it, we're getting deeper and deeper into that connection, right? But my advice would be, make it difficult to throw you away by giving people the emotional contribution of that connection. So if you answer the phone or you respond via text and you lead with gratitude, you'd say, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Would be a great way to start. Hey, this is, you called the core services. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Oh, my name is Ryan. Hey, Ryan, my name is Joe. I'm with Service MVP. Ryan, can I just say something? Thank you for calling Service MVP, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate that. So, Ryan, go ahead and tell me what's going on over there first. So before we start, people ask me for a price. I just say, so, Ryan, let's first establish who we are, and you get on a first-name basis. May I call you Ryan? Is it okay if I call you that?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Yeah, so you ask that kind of thing, and people are like, yeah, it's really nice. This guy's really nice. Ryan, tell me what's going on. Before we get into the price, tell me what's going on. And then the person starts telling you everything, right? Oh, wow. Who found the problem, Ryan? Oh, my wife found the problem. Oh, geez. What did she say? She said that I can't even live in this house. I'm going to move to my mother's house. Oh, my goodness. What's that like, Ryan? Yeah, I got to get this thing fixed. Ryan, the best way to get it fixed is for Abbas to come over to your house. So if you did that first, then everybody will let you come into their house. But the thing is, nobody wants to invite you to their house because you haven't earned a place at the table. You haven't taken the time to get to know somebody first, get the halo effect, learn about their family, and then tell them, you know what, this would be a perfect situation for me to help you. That would take me making an appointment. May I have your address? Like, don't even say, can I come to your house? Say, okay, the next step would be for us to come to your house and do an evaluation. May I have your address? Can't you just email it to me? And I always say, we can do better than email it, Ryan. We always believe in personal service, and that's the way we operate, just to make sure your family's taken care of. How important is it your family's taken care of, Ryan?
Very important.
That's why I want to come over to your house to make sure we do it right. So may I have your address?
Yeah, sure.
And so that's it. So just what people forget is to ask for the address. It's like, don't say I want to come to your house. Yeah, we're going to come over and make an appointment. And then they stop. So here, write this down. This is a big one. Statements end the conversation. Questions continue the conversation. So after I tell you I need to come to your house, the next question is, may I have your address? And then the guy is stuck. He didn't expect you to ask a question. Yeah, we need to make an appointment. I don't want you to make an appointment. See, now you gave somebody something to disagree with. So my advice would be, get on a first name basis and get the halo effect. Find out about the people in the home who experienced the problem. So now you got that more personal connection. You're hearing about the people who are frustrated. And now you ask to make an appointment by asking for the address. Don't ask for the appointment, just ask for the address. And 95% of the people, guess what they'll do? Is just book the call. That's what happens, Ryan.
I love it. You know, as you're talking, like, this is why you and I are connecting. I'm hearing the coaching and the processes that you're giving freely on this show, and I know you do in your program. It's very similar to what we do. The big thing we get is everybody I call, every technician no-shows me for the interview. My no-shows are 90%. Nobody wants to work anymore. Everybody's lazy. And I go, what's the name of the tech that you're going to be interviewing? Oh, remember? Why is he looking for a new job? Oh, no. And we used to pull some calls, and I'll never forget, we hear these people just pencil whipping the questions. And the guy's like gushing about all the things that are important to him and why he hates his job and what he wants to do with his free time or more money or whatever. And they're just like, okay. And they're just like tuning him out. And then the guy doesn't show up because there was no connection. You've got to give him a reason to want to show up. I mean, it's like so similar.
I'll just say this, Ryan. Most humans can't finish a sentence, honestly. So, when somebody says something like that, they call for a job interview and you don't have any empathy. You're not having a conversation. You're just like checking off boxes and then tell the guy to show up. It's too institutional, like I said. And you can, like, I think that's why we are connected and why we do believe in each other's services, because you do for what recruiting and onboarding people, what we do for sales in the home. It's just a continuation of your process. Is kind of like what we teach, basically, which is it's a people business. Recruiting's a people business, and so is heating, cooling, plumbing, and all the services. They're a people business, because without people, then nobody's going to ever work here. Without people, we're not going to need any kind of service without people, right? Because you got a garage that sits by itself. Nobody needs to have heating, cooling, or plumbing or electrical in it. It just sits there by itself,
Yeah. Now, we're both in the heel business. I love it. Tell us a little bit more about Service MVP and how can people learn about you? I mean, what you're doing over there is incredible. I've heard about you for years. I'm so excited we finally been able to connect and make this happen. Tell people how they can learn about what you're up to and maybe how they can even get more of these tips. Because if you're giving this stuff away for free, hear this. He's got even better stuff. When you
right. Well, honestly, one of the biggest accomplishments we've had over the last couple of years, Ryan, is we wrote this book. I wrote this book with my team. We kind of put it together. It's a lifetime achievement. It's, look at 430 pages. It's not light duty. This is heavy duty reading. Matter of fact, Ryan, I'm going to make sure we send you a a signed copy of the book, and I'll even take a picture. I'll take a video for you and send it to you, because you mean that I'm starting to really like our connection, and I look forward to our future connected together. But so this is available on Amazon. We sold 54,000 copies on Amazon at $25.99. But if you want to get the audiobook version of this, so you can listen in your truck between calls, just go to Service MVP, and we will have a special link that will be right on the front page there by the time this podcast airs. Just go there and order the audiobook for free. It'll be inside the Service MVP app. We have the whole audiobook version with the chapters and everything, and you can listen to it in the truck between calls. And my greatest hope is that everybody who listens to it will do what the thousands of people who have done, which is to create higher value for their clients, win clients, double your profit, and grow your home service sales, or just grow as a person. That's really what I'm looking for, is to grow people, to be better than they were yesterday, to turn positive thoughts into a reality. And so go to Service MVP and get your free audiobook. Just go there and you'll get that. If you want to go on Amazon and get this, you could do that. Or you could just call me or text me or email me at joe@servicemvp.com, and I'll be happy to provide that for you.
Joe, your passion, enthusiasm, your love for the trades and these service contractors, like it's just so deep, so obvious. I love it. It is such a great conversation. And I'm glad that you're taking care of so many. And I know you've got some big goals over at Service MVP to take care of even more. So if you enjoyed this episode and you got some value out of it, let us know. And make sure you go to servicemvp.com, pick up a copy of that book, check out what Joe and his team are up to. It's incredible stuff. And I can't say enough. Go check it out. Joe, thank you so much for being on the show today. I've enjoyed it. It's been, like I said, I've got a whole page of notes here myself. Amazing stuff. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. I appreciate you.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.